Hello, everybody. We're live. I think so. Anyway, I just double check. I was panicking mildly just before we came on because I'd lost my glasses, which means that you feel kind of like, well, half naked, really, more than anything. And then my guest today, Serena, said that she'd recently had, or at some point, had laser eye surgery, which seems to be the way to go, to be honest. So we will be talking to Serena any minute now, mainly about music, but maybe about eye surgery as well. Who knows? After this. And then I suddenly realised I hadn't turned the lights back on. There we go. Let's do that as well. And then we're feeling very festive and all of that. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Graham. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you coming from?
So I'm from Enfield. I'm at home at the moment.
Enfield, innit? Lovely part of the world. Know it very well.
There were school kids just about 15 minutes ago shouting, like coming back just outside of my house, and I was like, "Oh, please be quiet. I've got a podcast."
Yeah. But they're excited. They've probably been at school all day, and they've probably been doing assemblies, Christmas assemblies, all of that sort of thing. Did you used to do Christmas assemblies when you were a kid? Did you do all of that?
Did. My mum always says this story that when I did my nativity play in primary school, I was a sheep. So fantastic. I was a sheep. And I had one line, and I was so excited with my mum practicing and everything like that. But apparently on the actual assembly, I started saying my line, and then I started like walking off as saying my line. So no one really saw me. So
That's
unfortunately...
Brilliant.
Yeah, my mum took the day off for no reason.
What about the singing at school? Did you do a lot of singing at school?
Yes, I did, both in primary school and secondary school. But I feel like primary school, that was when I was always signing myself up for lots of opportunities. And it just grew from primary school, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, who's responsible then? Who's the person responsible in your history for you getting involved in music or instilling a love of music into you?
I would definitely say my mum. My mum loves music, and she's always been like playing music around the house. And she did this thing. I've kind of mentioned it to a few people, and they're like, wow, so I'll mention it. But my mum used to make story tapes of music, and it'd be like snippets of different songs, and she'd glue it together to tell a story. And she'd do it for different themes and different topics. But she did like a baby story tape for me and my brother Ryan, and it was all about describing our personality and what she wants to say to us as we're growing up. So from that, I've definitely grown up with music.
Wow, that's fantastic. Later on, did you get involved in any kind of amateur dramatic stroke, more musical type things at all?
Yes, I went to the Valley Academy Performing Arts School in Cheshunt, and I've actually recently gone back, but just to do my speech and drama exams. But that was fantastic for my confidence. I was always performing, doing lots of musicals there too.
Oh, what was your favourite?
Oh, that's a great question. I love them all, and even the musicals where I was probably really young and I didn't have a part, it still stays for me. So I would say it's got to be Annie for me, the musical Annie. I love the songs.
Yes. The sun will come out tomorrow.
That was in my head as I was saying it.
Oh, such a good musical. It is. It's really interesting what that does for you as a person, full stop, isn't it?
Definitely.
I've got a son that went to after his GCSEs, he went on to the place called the Space in Taunton. Big up the Space in Taunton, which is a drama college where you do your qualifications in around sort of drama, etc. And it is constant, isn't it? I mean, when you go into something like that, it's that step up from the school world where once a year or twice a year you do some kind of little performance or whatever, to you are always working on something and always working towards something. And it's what did that teach you that you're now sort of that's gone into where you are now?
It's weird you're saying this, because I follow Valley Academy on Instagram, and I've been seeing them doing Christmas shows, and this is what I used to do. So it was always like every term we either were working up for a big show or we were doing smaller shows, and all of it, I think it increased my confidence and it made me so happy, and it motivated me so much, because every Saturday I would go to the Valley Academy and we'd always be working on something. So I was always developing my skills with singing, dancing and acting, but I was having so much fun, and it worked wonders for my confidence, especially growing up.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So what was the bit of music then that really changed your life, and as a listener, and then made you think, oh, I've got to write like this?
Oh wow, I feel like this changes all the time. So even though I've been writing songs now, it inspires me and I'm like, I want to write some new songs. I feel it's music that makes me feel something, and it could be lots of different things. So an artist that I've been listening to a lot at the moment is an artist called Jon Bellion. And people may be like, oh, that's a weird cut, because I wouldn't say he's a reference artist for my particular genre of music. But what I love about Jon Bellion is he's a singer, he's a songwriter for huge artists, and he's written for the likes of like Jungkook, Justin Bieber, Maroon 5, so many different artists. And he's also a producer and an arranger. So he has total control over all of his songs, so the writing process. And he does this thing where he'll have his songs and he'll release it. Then he'll do like an acoustic version, and it will be a completely different arrangement to what you've heard of him already, of how the song's released. It's like another song. And what I'm inspired about that, and it inspires me, it's been inspiring me a lot at the moment to just write, is the fact that you can hear his passion. You can hear his passion in his music, whether it's through his voice, through his lyrics, or through like different production elements of it. For me, that is so inspiring.
We're going to tag him in this. You realise that?
Amazing. Love to hear from Jon Bellion.
And when that happens, you know, what sort of song, if you could sit down with Jon and write, what sort of song do you think would come out?
It's like you read my mind, Graham. A lot of these questions that you've said so far are questions I've had in my head and I've been thinking about. I was at the gym today. I'll use this as an example. And I love, like, some people may listen and it's great. They may listen to rap music and stuff to train. For me, it's different and I don't. But I love listening to songs because I'm an NLP practitioner, that makes me feel an emotion and I can attach it to something else. So Jon Bellion's written this song with Maroon 5 called Lost. And the production in the song, it's like you're swimming. For me, it feels like I'm swimming. And when I'm training and my endorphins are really high, it's great. So that's the type of song that I'd love to write with Jon Bellion.
You'd want to get into that feeling of the endorphins being released somehow. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? And it's one thing to capture that in words, isn't it? I mean, I think actually sometimes sometimes it's quite easy to capture something in words. I mean, that's not necessarily true, but sometimes you can come up with the words that really kind of express how you feel in a moment. but then doing it with a piece of music and getting both of them to really resonate together, that's the harder bit.
It
And
really is.
and maybe that's where a lot of people fall down sometimes. They get one or the other right, but not both together.
Yeah, so I would even say I've fallen victim to that, and I've had to be a bit careful with it, because it's like you could have a really good song, and when you've been writing it, you know how you want it to sound, but when it goes into the production process of a song, it can either make a song or break a song. And if you, because they ask you for reference tracks, what do you want the song to sound like? And I think it's not even the producer's fault if it goes wrong, because sometimes I'm like, oh, this is the reference track, it should be this. And then it's completely the wrong reference track, and it takes the song in a different direction, and it's not that great. So you've got to really make sure your production matches the atmosphere you wish to capture with the song.
No, absolutely. We've got a few comments coming in. You make me want to go swimming now. I haven't been to the pool anymore. Well, that's good. Yeah. Don't leave it too long, Andrew. Get to the pool. You know, it's the right thing to do. Christmas assemblies were ace. I was one of the wise men in year 2, 3. Yeah, I remember being Joseph at one point.
Oh wow!
It was it was always an awkward part to play though when you're a young lad, isn't it? I mean, because you've got to stand near Mary, and boys hate girls at that time in your life. Well, you know, it's like, oh, I've got to stand next to a girl, and I don't know. Maybe youngsters are a lot, you know, don't go through that in the same way. But you know, it certainly was when I was in school. It was like, oh no, dirty girls, and you got to stand next to Mary and hold her hand, and it's like, oh, you know, and yet you've got to be convincing and be like, you know, this loving character, Joseph. But yeah, it's. I don't know whether I pulled it off or not.
I remember I really wanted the part of Mary for the nativity play, and I didn't get it. I got a sheep. But if I was going to act like that as a sheep and walk off the stage saying my one line, it's a good job I didn't get Mary.
The angel appeared to Mary and said, and Mary said, "Well, I saw him. Got to go."
Mary's walked off.
That's it. That was Christmas then, wasn't it? That's kind of ruined the whole Christmas thing. So what are you working on at the moment?
So it's been super busy. So my first single's just been released, Foreseen, which I'm very, very proud about that it started this year, because I had a decision to make. Should I get it out before the Christmas period, or do I wait until the next year, the new year? And I thought, no, I really want to I really want to start this year. So I've got it out. And now it's like, okay, the next single, thinking about the next single, which is going to come out at the end of January next year. And then you're always working ahead of schedule. So then you're thinking about the next single and then the next single. And I've just about managed to suss out, I need to be kind of 2 months ahead in advance in terms of making sure everything's ready. So the songs may be recorded, which they are, but in terms of all the assets being ready for the song to be released.
And that partly, you see, that's the pressure of this social media and stuff, as much as anything else, isn't it? You know, because it's not like the good old days when, you know, you produced a load of music and then, you know, that there would be a time delay because you've got to get that cut to 7-inch back in the day, or put on a cassette. And then it gets distributed, gets into the shop, and then people, you know, queue up and they try and buy it, and then they run out and all of that, you know. So there's that lengthy delay. I guess there's always been some element of knowing where you are in that process, but these days it's so much more rapid, isn't it? Because it's almost like on social media, if you're not doing the next thing, there's the concern that people are going to forget about you.
It's true.
There's nothing there.
That's the thing. Like, there's all the preparing for the songs, and then the social media, like keeping your online presence, is a whole other thing as well. So it's a lot.
Yeah, I know. I know about it because I do it for people. One of the things then with that is, have you thought about what else can fill the gap when you're not releasing?
Yes, I like, because I always grew up not on social media, so it's still kind of new to me. So I've told myself to kind of be prepared, make sure I've got content pieces prepared that I want to share, that's authentic to me, it's going to show my personality, songs that I want to put up. So I have like it's called evergreen folder, and my
Mm.
consultant Matt, he shared it with me. He was like, an evergreen folder, so everything that you wish to share, different elements of your life, you put into that folder and it's ready to go. And just kind of having a rough schedule of different things that you want to come out. I find it's hard when you release a song though, because I was super prepared before Nature Foreseen, my debut single, was released. And then the second the single came out, because I was like, oh, I'm having interviews, so I want to be able to post it and say thank you and show my gratitude for when people say, Serena, it's gone up. So because of that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to schedule in posts. But then I realized with that, you're thinking on the spot and you're trying to keep up. It's like you're like a hamster on a wheel, like trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that I talk to everybody about, all clients about, not just music clients, is, you know, can you be talking about other things in between, and can you be leading the conversation on certain things? If you had a chance to lead a conversation, not necessarily on the music, but other things in your life, what would that be? Or what would the topics be?
Great conversation, because I was thinking about what do I want to share and things like that. And because I am a life coach and master NLP practitioner, and it's all about like thinking about different thoughts and inspiring people, I'm like choosing questions at the moment. And I think one that I've already posted is, what would I say to my younger self? What advice would I give to my younger self? So I'd give my answer, and then that kind of, it's self-reflective for other people to think, oh, what would I say to my younger self? What advice would I give to my younger self? And
Yeah.
with Steve, my business partner, we're always having to think of content ideas for our LinkedIn and for our business. And it's very much like self-reflective mindset and things like that. So for me, it works for my music artist page because it's authentic to me. It's not like worlds apart.
There you are. I didn't know you were on LinkedIn. I will hit you up on LinkedIn later, because that's my primary platform. There you
Oh,
go.
really?
Yeah. This is going out live on LinkedIn now. There you go.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
there you go. You'll be able to share this later. This is something you're making a piece of content for LinkedIn right this minute, along with lots of other platforms as well. I think getting involved in conversations, for me, I mean, that's the primary aim of the whole part of my business, is creating conversations, creating conversational content with people. I think what's really interesting, the more that I get musicians in here, and a lot of people say to me, what has interviewing musicians got to do with the rest of your business? I said, well, actually, it's about conversations, and I start conversations wherever. And what's really interesting is that the more I talk to musicians, is it's so interesting how a lot of people that talk to musicians treat them as a kind of two-dimensional person. The only thing that they talk to them about is music. And
Yes.
most musicians that I talk to have so much more than just the music behind them. And I'm
True.
really interested in developing those conversations, because I think actually that's another strand that needs to come out. And
True.
I think partly it will keeps people sane as they're doing their music as well, to have those other conversations. That may be where you draw inspiration from as well. Do you find that? Do you draw inspiration from the other part of your life, your professional life with the NLP, etc.?
Absolutely. I've just written a new song, and when I wrote it, I was like, this sounds very NLP-esque. I've been talking about NLP-esque music, as in, what energy do I want to send out? And I wouldn't say, if you were going to take energy from Nature Foreseen, I think you'd have to wait to the bridge to get some form of some empowering energy in that bit. But so the first couple of singles, they were written before, so not really got that in it. But this song that I've written just now, and I'm like, oh, I definitely want it to be a single. I was listening back, I was like, not only do the lyrics sound like it's future pace for another time, there's so many things that you can do in the production that would be sending out an energy. So absolutely I do.
Cool. Now listen, for anyone that hasn't heard your music yet, how would you define it?
I would say my music is, so the genre's pop soul, and it's emotive. The debut song that I put out is emotive, but very authentic. I feel like if you want to get a real sense, and this is the reason why these are the first like singles and songs coming up for the first three anyway. If you would like to get my values and me as a person, I feel like these song, Nature Foreseen is a good example of that. Not because it's not a happy song, a happy, uplifting song, but what I mean by that is that you can hear my values in there and the type of person I am.
Yeah. Now listen, you've talked about who you admire as a musician, and you've talked about, you know, therefore presumably who you'd want to work with as a musician. Who as a musician, if you're looking through the sort of roster of musicians out there at the moment, who needs your NLP?
Who needs my NLP?
Yeah.
I would say I've just finished watching Robbie Williams' documentary. I feel like he would love NLP. I think that would be great. I think he's been very honest and very authentic in his documentary. And I love watching documentaries, like artist documentaries, because there's so much you can learn from it. But definitely him. I feel like it'd be amazing to see how it affects him when he goes on stage.
Yeah, no, totally. Artist documentaries, artist autobiographical books, etc. Personally, I think they're some of I've said this before, I actually think they're some of the best business books you can buy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. And people go, what? No, surely there's like business books and, you know, sort of self-help books and whatever. And then these are just autobiographies. But artists really had to pull it out of the bag in their lives to get where they want to be. And there's some real truths that come out in that as well. Some real truths. There's one, I'll see if I can find it right here now. It's gone hiding. Here we go. Look at this, folks. Here's one. I have mentioned this one before. Look at this title and give me your kind of NLP opinion of this title. Look at this.
Sure. I'm still going to read it. Don't suck, don't die, giving up. Okay. Yeah. I like that. The don't is definitely that's an English thing, but it's imperative. So it's like, don't suck, don't die, but
don't do this. Do not do this. Yeah. It's a book by it's a book by Christian Hirsch, which is a great book. You should read it. All about her relationship with this guy, Vic Chestnut, who was another artist. But this kind of underlying principle that, you know, if you do anything, you've just got to do it authentic to you, right?
Yeah.
You mustn't change what you want to do for anybody else, because as soon as you start changing it and making it for anybody else, you're going to suck at it, right? Absolutely. Not because you might be doing what other people see as the best, but you will suck at it because it won't resonate with you anymore.
It won't feel natural, and most importantly, you won't enjoy what you are doing. And I think with everything, even when I've been thinking about what songs do I want to come next and changing my order and things like that, my purpose for it is because if I don't some people may be like, this song, Serena, though, is amazing, you should put this out. If I feel like I don't love it and I'm not like 100% confident with it myself, it doesn't matter what other people think. I'm not going to like the process when it comes out.
No. And you've got to promote it, and you've got to get behind it, and you've got to do all of this other stuff creatively to then put it out and birth it into the world, etc. And I think this is something that some people in the industry sometimes forget, which is that there's a creative process on a creative process.
Yes.
And by that, I mean, it's not just about writing the song. For a real creative, when you then do all the other stuff to then put it out, etc., you really want to be sort of creatively inspired by your own piece of work again, to be creative again, right? So that actually it's not just a case of I've got a new single coming out, I'm gonna do a bit of work about this, chuck it in there, get a bit of this, oh, chuck that out, there you go. You really want to like be inspired by that piece of work to go, right, what can I create to get out there that's gonna really emphasize what I'm feeling about this. So you want to create art from art, and then that becomes the content that gets out there, and that should be inspiring. The content, I think, around music should be as inspiring as the music itself. Do you believe that?
Definitely. I couldn't agree more.
There you go. Sorry, I got on my high horse. I know. There you go. But it happens. I just get so passionate about it. You know, I see so many artists out there. Just folks, don't just, you know, template everything and then just keep going on a kind of treadmill with your music. You've really got to kind of get behind it. You know, think about it. Get really creative. A bit like the guys that, I mean, and I mentioned this on the earlier one, but the guys from this completely different kind of music from you, but Snail Mate, who sent me this stuff earlier, and you know, they've created their own hot sauce.
Oh wow, I love that.
And they've created and it's hanging now in the car, folks. They've created an air freshener, and you know, and they've done all the graphics for it, and you know, every little, even like there's a little business card somewhere. I try and find the business card. Little things like this, just little things, and they've drawn everything themselves, and I just think, you know, I think that's great. There's just a creative energy there, which is just continuing beyond the music, which is
great
really
that they've had an input on what comes out as well on the merchandise. That's really good.
Well, I think they just like to do all of it because they're just, you know, there you go. For people that haven't picked up on your music yet, where's the best place to go? Where do you want to touch base with your people?
Yeah, well, I'm available on social media platforms at Serena Ittoo, so on all of them, and you can stream Nature Foreseen on Spotify. And yeah, so
is there a platform that you like to talk to fans on more than others?
Yes, I feel like I'm using Instagram much more than Facebook. It will change to TikTok. I'm just not rushing my TikTok strategy because I feel like I'm still trying to work out how to use TikTok. So at the moment, Instagram.
It's a funny platform. It's a funny platform. Again, I think you've got to come up with something creative that's beyond the music. I think it's worth looking at some other artists that are, you know, not to copy them, that have done very well on those platforms, just to think about how they've used the platform. Yeah. Beth McCarthy is one that I always talk to people about. I think she's done incredibly well at creating a narrative around songs without pushing the song per se. So I think that works very well, where she'll use a line of the song to talk to people and interview other people and create a narrative around a moment in the song, and then obviously that pushes the song, but without it being like the kind of like buy my single, you know. I mean, that's the important thing, isn't it? It's all about continually really getting people to come into your world and interacting with you, and that's a difficult thing these days. Well, thank you for the music, the songs you're singing. Thanks for all the joy you're bringing. See where that was going? Yeah, there you go.
You could have done. You've chosen a song that my mum put on her story tape.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is that who doesn't love a bit of ABBA? Bless. I think my nan was a massive ABBA fan, and Brotherhood of Man as well. Did you ever hear Brotherhood of Man?
I've heard of like Brotherhood of Man, but not. I wouldn't be able to like pick up songs.
I think it kill me, folks, if I get this wrong. But I think the famous Brotherhood of Man one was "Save all your kisses for me, save all your kisses for me." There you go. That was it. You can go and look that up now. Maybe that become a favourite in the future. Serena Ittoo, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for sharing a bit of your music. I'm going to find you on LinkedIn, and we'll connect there, folks. Please do support Serena. Go and listen to her music. Find out a little bit more about her. Do say hi, and if you like her music, don't just stream it and then move on. Just drop her a note saying that's touched me. That's been important to me, because that makes all the difference in an artist's day. That's what they do it for, ultimately, at the end of the day, anyway. You'll see clips from this coming out at some point all over the interweb. Please do share them as well. If you've enjoyed it, share this with your friends, your family, and everybody else. And if you haven't enjoyed it, well, just move on. Take a breath. I'll be back later with yet another My Music. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to be talking to a fantastic band. And until then, thank you so much, Serena, for coming in. And bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.